So in today's video, we're going to discuss how long does it take for you to see your abs. I think it's a fairly common question, and one that people will try and shy away from saying, well, there's no one size time fits all. It's all dependent and specific, and in a weird way that is kind of true. But let's just iron things out now. Let's just say you are going to be fully adherent to a plan. You're not going to eat off the plan. You're going to eat only the meals prescribed. You're going to do the cardio that was requested. You're going to do the steps. You're going to train properly in the gym, apply progressive overload, and you're going to sleep like a baby. Then what we want to understand is how long will it take from your given body fat to get into the point of getting six-pack abs. And what I'll do is I'll just go through a few clients with different levels of body fat and how long it took them. I'll give you some that are absolute best case scenario and then some that are a bit more realistic. So we'll start off with this result here. This was a 20 kg off the frame. Now, realistically, this is best case scenario. He dropped 20 kg in 16 weeks. The guy's an absolute monster. As you can see, the guy had a lot of muscle underneath, or a lot of untapped potential, should we say, underneath. And he was able to just absolutely melt over the course of 16 weeks. So that's more than a kilo per week. So if you're sat around this, and I would say this here is about 28% body fat. You may disagree, shoot me down, whatever, but I think realistically, it's probably best that you don't even concern yourself. I'll tell you what I think the body fat was, or what I estimated at, because I have to, because that's ultimately how I'm going to get you the end result. But realistically, all you want to know is, he looked like this, how long did it take for him to look like this? And this one was a 16-week best case scenario. Now, a more realistic approach would be something like this guy. Similar body fat, less chest hair. And then this one here, this was a 20-week result. Maybe could have been done a few weeks earlier, but we wanted to make sure the job was truly finished and the six-pack was out and it was looking crisp and that dry look. So if you're around about 27 to 32% body fat, expect it's going to take roughly about 20 weeks. That's a fair shout of what you can expect. This result we had here, I believe, was a 13-week transformation. We didn't need to pull off that much. This is your typical 20% body fat, as you can see, relative to the layer of adipose tissue around the midsection, down to being crispy. Could probably have done this a little bit quicker, but we wanted to make sure the job was done and we were looking really, really lean and peeled to the bone. If you ever wonder when you see results, how do they look so veiny and that? It's because what we do is we run what's known as a high carb day. This would be, and you would trial this maybe a few times before, but just before you're going to do the final shots, you run a high carb day where you take their scale weight, times it by 7, and that will give you the gram amount of carbs to have. You'll have that with pink salt and also a good amount of water, depending on the person. This guy probably around 4 to a 5 litre mark. And then when they train, the pump is insane, and that's how you get that veiny look, if you're ever wondering what that was. Here was a 20-week, here I believe this would have been a 20%er, maybe a touch leaner, maybe 18, down towards definitely sub 10. I mean, you could live inside that fucking crevice. This was an 11-week result. We pulled 10 kg off the frame. If you're looking like this, if there's no abs in sight, you probably need to pull 10 kg off your frame to see that change. So that's a 20%er. This one here was a 10-weeker. This guy, again, leaner. We can see where the outline of the ab is. I believe this guy was sat anywhere from 16 to 17% body fat, and then ultimately pulled off, I think, about 8 kg or so off this frame, coming in real crispy. This was actually the first ever YouTube client that came to us from the channel, and was the first result, should I say, out the other end of the process. Let's find you another result. So this one, where we went really lean to the absolute bone, this was a 17-week result. As you can see, same principle, about 20%, and then we've got to be around 7 or 8 at this point here. So this is going to take you 17 weeks if you want to go really, really lean. Here's probably one of the best ones we've done to date. I'll show you from arms down in both to give it a true reflection. This was a 22-week result. I believe this guy was sat at 35% body fat. And I think you probably agree that's a fair analogy. This guy sat 35% body fat, 114 kg, down to 85 at 10% body fat. This is an anomaly. Not everyone is going to be able to absolutely peel themselves to the bone that quick in 22 weeks. If it took 35, that'd still be absolutely golden. If it took 37 because you needed a bit of a diet break in between the two, that'd be okay as well. That would be absolutely fine. But if you're coming down from 35, try and knock it off in two phases. Diet harshly for 20 weeks. Try get about 20 kg off the frame. Set yourself a 4-week maintenance, and then go again and get the remaining 15 off. It'll restore glycogen and it'll restore your diet appetite. Is the term I'll use. It's essentially where you are hungry to diet both physically and mentally. Not that you run out of dieting speed and then what happens is you just burn out and the body stops responding. Now, this is probably a best case scenario of 22 weeks, but it does show what is absolutely possible to be achieved. Let's have a look at another result. So this result here, 20 kg pulled off the frame. This was around about a 25-week period with a bit of travel and whatnot in between. We pulled 20 kg off. He's now at 10%. Realistically, you do the math on that, he's sat around anywhere, like we said before, in that 27 to 32%. Don't get me wrong, this guy's nowhere near 32. At the very best, he's 29% body fat, and we've pulled off 20 kg from there. If you need to pull off 20 kg off the frame to have abs, you're pretty much at 30% body fat. 0.8 of a kilogram works out to be 1% of body fat. Now, this guy here, 21 weeks, 18 kg. This is the side shot just to show off the difference between the two. You would actually think with this wasn't as much body fat to lose as initially thought. But again, if someone needs to lose 18 kg to drop down to 10% body fat and be lean, then they're pushing, they're above 25, right? Maybe not quite 30, but probably in around that 26, 27 space. Another one we've done here, this was a 10-week result in and out. To be honest, this guy, if you look at the midsection here, we pulled 10 kg off the frame in 10 weeks, so another corker of a result. He's probably about 8 if you look how deep those abs are at this point here. Veins running across, so realistically it can't be any more than 17 or 18% body fat to lose 10 kg. But bearing in mind, the first couple of weeks, they are like, you're going to lose a bit of water weight and whatnot. So the first couple of kilos actually are not drastic, not in the sense of body fat. This is 8 kg off in 5 weeks. So this is one where you're looking at, you're already starting pretty lean. What would you say? I'd probably go along the space of 14, 15. Obviously, let's say you drop a kg in water weight, still gives you another 7 to drop off. He's sub 10, maybe around 9 there, maybe even 8. So then from there, you're probably 15, 14%. You can knock that off in 5 weeks, no problem. This one was another typical 12-week result. I believe we dropped about 7 or 8, but with this one was a slightly different one because we needed to grow some tissue on this as well, and we can see we definitely did that, judging by the Death Star delts. We then needed to keep food high and then pull the body fat off slowly at the end to get the six-pack out. I'll be honest, this guy I think wasn't really training as well as he could have before he came to me, and then we trained him and he just absolutely took... I didn't do anything special with this guy. He just responded very, very nicely, and as a result, the traps, the delts, all were popping by the end of it. By the way, all these photos at the end are taken with pump. Most of them, all of them before are not taken with a pump. You can obviously see that. This was a 17-week result, pulling off 15 kg of body fat. And again, we're looking at about 8% here. I believe he's as lean as ever. Again, we ran the high carb day protocol to do so. So anywhere, if you look at this midsection, you could probably get a little bit more off if you really wanted to. But I'd say it's at least 8 or 9, pull 15 kg off over the course of a 17-week period. Again, this is another one I wanted to be a little bit cautious with and just test and adjust those final weeks before we dropped off that last bit. But yeah, again, it gives you a picture and a frame of how long these things can take. This was a little bit longer. We did pull off 15 kgs, which is still no joke. Like if you need to get to 10%, you need to pull 15 kg off. Do the math. You're sat at somewhere at like 25, or I'd say this guy was probably not quite 25, more like a 22, 23 space, but he's crispy here, so we pull 15 kg off to drop that. This is your typical 12 to 13 weeker. This was a 13-week drop off, and again, recomped in the middle allowed us to drive a little bit of growth, but mainly bring this in. And by bringing this in drastically, and also the body fat off from around the delts, we were able to really get that nice V shape that you can see here. Another quick one, again, if you're starting where you can see visible abs, 5 weeks and you should be there. You should be absolutely crispy in 5 weeks. No questions asked. Any others? This one was a bit of a longer one, and actually this should inspire a fair amount of you. This guy in across the two photos, I think, I lost about 15 kg. Saw his abs for the first time, but we can see here we were carrying a fair amount of adipose tissue. That was quite thick to see, and you can always tell from the back just how much body fat males are carrying. But this is a 22-week result, 15 kg. We had to be a little bit more patient on this. This can be one where things don't always go your way and your metabolism isn't in the best space it possibly could be. So in which case you need to keep food high for a little bit to allow you to drive performance in the gym. Because essentially, looking at it like this, you want to be able to take the food in, use it and burn it, and have the constant need for the fuel. If you've managed to abuse your body to the point where it's not had that much fuel for a long period of time, or you've been eating, should I say, not nutrient dense food for a long period of time, then essentially when you try to drop off, your body's already used to being like semi-starved. It's not just going to release body fat because it's thinking, I need to keep that for energy, otherwise I'll fucking die from the abuse that you give me. This is another 10-week result. Again, this guy started very, very lean. And I can't remember the total we pulled off. It wasn't quite 10 kg, as you can see. This guy, very, very good starting point. This is, and the title here, good to elite. This is good. Most men walk around like this. You look fucking good like this, 100%. But this is the elite level you can get to in just a 10-week period. So let's just put a few final points on it. Again, another 7-week result, quick in and out job. This would relate to a lot of you just coming off the back of Christmas. Only pulled about 4 kg off over this. The back shot gives you a little bit more information of how much body fat we were carrying, and you can just see really how. When I estimate a body fat, and I get shot down a lot in the comments, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the, people say, no, he's not this, he's this. I'm more than happy with that. But what I probably should show more of is the back shots, because the back shots, you can really see how much men are carrying across the back shot. Like this here is pretty skinned out lean. You see the triangle. This here, there's a lot of body fat on this physique to start with. So this is me climbing Kilimanjaro. But let's just wrap up the video here. In fact, before we do, this was another YouTube client. Very, very good result we can see here. This is a longer period. Now, this is probably about an 8-month result where we've done a bit of a recomp, a bit of a build, then a little bit of a fat loss phase. And as a result of that, we've just tightened up here, dropped off any loose skin, added some shape, and we just look, night and day better than we did. You can see the how we've changed the body composition across the midsection and added some nice muscle across the back shot as well. This is really good work from this client. Really, really good work. But it just shows what can be achieved. So to answer your question, how long will it take you to see your abs? If you're sat anywhere from 15%, you can knock this off in 5 weeks. If you're sat anywhere from 18 to 20, let's say, you're looking at dropping 10 kg, and that's going to take you anywhere from 10 to 12 to 13 weeks. If you're sat in around this space here, 25 or under, or anywhere, let's go anywhere 23 to 27-ish, expect around a 15, 16, 17 week if you want to do transformation, photo shoot style look. And then as you start to get softer and softer, and you're in that space of like, where was our example? This guy here, this you're going to need to drop 20 kg. Same principle here, you're going to need to drop, I don't think we showed this one, we dropped 22 kg across this one to see the abs. And again, just always look at the back, how much adipose tissue needs to come off, versus how lean a back can look. Don't get me wrong, good lighting across the second photos. But, anywhere from 20 to 22, 20 kg it needs to come off the frame. You're looking at a 20-week period. And if you're around 28, 29, 30, 32% body fat, you're going to need to drop 20, 22 kg. Absolutely, no questions asked. This one, this was a 16-week recomp here. This should give a good bit of info as well. This is probably about a 23% body fat, roughly. Maybe just above 20, actually. You can see an outline of the abs. Maybe more towards 20, actually. It might be a bit harsh. And then when you get to your much, much bigger guys, like this here, I've got some more in the pipeline when they finish, because again, they're such big results. Actually, this was the first, like the biggest guy I'd ever done, and then once we posted this, we started to get more people of this size. Obviously, they take longer to finish, but realistically, if you're starting around 35%, 40% body fat, again, aim off that it's going to take best part of a year to get the majority of this off. But then you can start again. You got a blank canvas to start from. Also, sometimes to consider when you start off at this sheer size, it's worth noting that if you drop really, really quick, this guy wasn't too bad. You can end up with some loose skin that sits around the bottom here. Now that will tighten up over time, but it's just something to consider about the rate of drop. Now, for sure, you can drop a kilo or two each every week across that transformation. But it's just something to consider if you're trying to get things quick in the here and now. Now, I've given you a lot of time frames, but I will also say, don't focus on the abs. I know I've said how long will it take to get abs, but the best piece of advice I could give you is not the weeks and the examples from the clients. It's that don't focus on the abs, just focus on the person you need to become to get the abs. And as a byproduct, eventually they're going to land on your stomach. If you're that individual that is disciplined, that gets up every morning, weighs himself for accountability, does his steps because he's supposed to, drinks plenty of water and is hydrated, then has his coffee, has his meals, and then he's into his gym, he's into his work, and you'll lock the routine in, everything else in your life is going to take care of itself. Not only will you get six-pack abs, your work will increase, your family life will increase because you're happier and you're happier to be around. Your friends are going to want to be around you because you're growing and you're on the up. People always like to be around people that are winning. So don't focus on the abs. Focus on the individual you need to become to get the abs. You know what the best version of you should do tomorrow and the day after that to get the abs. You know what the best version of you should be doing to be that guy. You need to just start thinking and acting like that guy. So don't see yourself as someone that's trying to get in shape. See yourself as an athlete. How would the athlete guy live? Well, he'd prioritize his bedtime. He'd get 8 hours sleep. He'd make sure he's had his supplements. He'd make sure he's had his meals on time. He'd make sure he doesn't miss any of the non-negotiables. Not that supplements are the answer, by the way. Supplements are only good if you take the absolute basics on top of good sleep, nutrition, and hydration. If you wonder what I believe the basics are, just the ones I take on a daily basis, you're talking when you wake up in the morning, zinc, Vit D, a multivit, and omegas. Omegas are good for joint health. Vit D good for the production of testosterone, especially if you live in those colder countries, you're not outside enough. And zinc also good and linked to the production of testosterone. Creatine monohydrate, always take that good for strength and performance. And your last one you're talking is magnesium to take before bed. I sleep like an absolute baby when I've had magnesium. I sleep well anyway, but once I've had that, I sleep even better. So that's the basic stack you want to be taking. But again, just doing the non-negotiables, becoming that individual is how you're going to get the six-pack, and don't worry about the time frame. Just enjoy the process. So thank you for listening, and I will see you tomorrow. If you want me to do this for you, there'll be links in the description. Feel free to book a call, and we'll take it from there. Apart from that, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow.